known, but his challengers are largely unknown. Nearly half of the black voters are also undecided, which means there's a clear opportunity for candidates to connect with black voters. Our poll makes 3 things abundantly clear. Black voters matter. Black voters are closely following this race, and the candidates for DA have a lot of work to do. KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to the mobilization and use of the franchise to empower our audience to identify and pursue their interests in advancing equity, inclusive representation, and multiracial solidarity. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte. We welcome your feedback.
With family and friends and getting that type of love off too, because it's all about love today. So from me to you, lots of love, and I hope that you're on the receiving end of more. So listen, this of course is the show where we talk about entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture headlines and trending topics. And tonight we have, as usual, a lot to get into. So first up, if you're not already following our social media, hit us up, KBLA 1580. I am, of course, at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Hit me up, say hi, check me out. And if at any point tonight you want to get in on this conversation, give us a call, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Let me give you a rundown on the topics that we're going to get into tonight. Since it's Valentine's Day, on the first hour, we're going to get into love, black love, and specifically black love and kind of social justice. So Killer Mike recently came out and said that he believes that black love and black marriage are important. And if you aren't married to a black woman, then he's going to question you. So we're going to get into his comments and talk a little bit about that. We're also going to get into, Kanye West is out there doing his thing. His new CD with Ty Dolla $ign Vultures is, did I say CD? Is that what you call it? No, it's an album. At any rate, it's streaming pretty well. And of course, he is courting controversy. So Shaq recently came out and had some smoke for him. So Kanye has a response to that and to the rumor that Taylor Swift got him kicked out of the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into Queen Latifah and Will Smith had a conversation about why they feel the hip-hop artists from their generation, Will, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J, Ice Cube, etc., there's a few more that you can go on, why they believe that they were perfectly set up to continue their music career into TV and film. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. Plus, of course, more trending topics and headlines. Since it is Valentine's Day, we're going to share a little bit of love news. Now, we know Rick Ross, he turns him over quickly, and he has a new love. But his last girlfriend, actress Pretty V, she has a new love too, and it's a throwback kind of love. She became Instagram official today with R&B singer Case. You remember Case from back in the day. He had the song Happily Ever After. He was one of the first R&B artists on Def Jam. Well, they officially came out as official for, the 224. So I think that's sweet. Also, in a couple of other conversation starters, Beyonce is gracing the cover of the April issue of Essence magazine. So we're going to look forward to that. We're going to get into some of the details of her hair care line later. And speaking of personal grooming and new product lines, LeBron James is launching a men's grooming line. It's going to be called The Shop. And it's a brand owned with LeBron, his business partner, Maverick Carter. And it's going to drop in April. And it will be stocked at around 1,600 Walmart stores, so he's making it convenient worldwide. And it includes products like face wash, shaving and beard creams, shampoo, and conditioner. And price point information isn't available as of yet, but being that it is going to be in Walmart. I think it will be reasonably priced. And we know The Shop is his talk show, which started off on HBO back in 2018, which was in barbershop settings, featuring different notable individuals where they would get into topical conversations. So, as an extension of that brand, and obviously LeBron James has a beard, he's known for that. He's known for keeping it crispy and beauty secrets. He talked about his wife, Savannah, putting things on his face and experimenting with him in that manner. She has a skincare line that's going to be dropping soon. So it's all in the family, expanding that King James empire. Listen, we have more trending topics and headlines on the other side. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world. If we care enough.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to the lovers in the chat. Happy Valentine's Day to Fahima, Shannon, and Carrie Webb. Thank you guys. I hope you guys are having an amazing Valentine's Day. So listen, we were talking briefly about Beyonce being on the April cover of Essence magazine. Let me tell you that the Amazon sales outlet, I guess, for Essence, the physical copy of it, allegedly sold out in less than a couple of hours for the Beyonce cover. So that is the magic of Beyonce. And since it's Valentine's Day, it's only appropriate that Drake dropped some new visuals from his All the Dogs album. Bet you forgot that Drake released an album last October. Well, anyway, I think this video is really cute. It's for Rich Baby Daddy, and he has SZA and Sexy Red on it. And the video kind of imitates real life in it. Sexy Red plays his love interest whose water breaks, and they go rushing to the hospital. And so there is, chaos that ensues. But the remix is cute. I approve, thumbs up, and I think it's cute visuals. It's shot old school style. Looks like it's shot on a camcorder, and Drake directed it. So check that out if you were online, because, we like Drake a little bit, right? We do. So listen, we have some sad news to report. All you Pop-Tart fans, the creator of the Pop-Tart, William Bill Post, has passed away at the age of 96. He started off as a Keebler plant manager in Grand Rapids in the 1960s, and he was approached by executives at Kellogg's to create, a breakfast food for the toaster. And he created the first concept of Pop-Tarts, and they first dropped in 1963. So there you go. We also want to send our condolences to the city of Kansas City, who held their parade today for their Super Bowl champion Chiefs. There was a situation with a shooter, and at least 15 people were shot. We know that one person has confirmed has passed away. She was a radio DJ. Her name was Lisa Lopez of the Taste of Tejano show, and she passed away shortly after that. There are not many details of the shooter. There are 3 individuals that were allegedly detained, but no arrests have been announced. So sending prayers and healing out to them. Hope that everything is amazing. So listen, it's Valentine's Day, so I thought that it's only appropriate we discuss a little bit about love. So Killer Mike, who we know just won, well, he swept the Grammys in the hip-hop rap category. And in a recent interview, he was explaining why it was important to him to marry a black woman. And he took it a step further, and he said that a lot of the people that he feels, critique him as far as his political views and other things, that he is the type of individual to look at your life before he determines whether he will take criticism or advice from you, which, fair. There's a lot of ways you can look at it, but certainly examining the quality of someone's life is one way to determine if you're going to give any validity to, some of the things I have to say. Certainly one way, right? So in this interview, he went on to explain why not only is Black love important to him, but why he feels that individuals who are not engaged in it don't really grasp what they're missing out on. So let's check out what he had to say.
I quote you all the time, when you say, I married a black woman, most of my critics did.
Most of my critics did.
And there's a moment, too, even when you won the 3rd Grammy, the way she came out and embraced
Yeah,
you,
man.
like, that was just special to me. But I like when you say that quote. I want you just to expound on that. Why is it so important to have a black woman?
Man, a lot of people. I mean, you know, for me, Walt T. Williams was a conservative. He was an economist, and so I borrow from blackness all around. I don't, you don't have to be married to a political party for me to learn from me. I grew up between two black folks. My grandmother was SCLC, NAACP, very much a Democrat. My grandfather didn't give a damn about government, hated most systems. He had a quote that if God gave you an appetite in the brain to make a fishing pole, you shouldn't have to pay taxes to fish. My grandmother said, well, somebody got to clean up the park, Willie, so the game wars got to be. So I grew up between these. But so for me, I don't really put a lot of emphasis on what you are. It's just a matter, you love my people, I go. So when I say I married a black woman, Walt T. Williams said there's only one case he agreed with in terms of segregation. And people were like, well, what is that? Because you've been free thinking. You're over here writing conservatives. And he says, that's when it comes to marriage. You should marry a black woman. Because who's going to understand me like a black woman? Who gonna understand my pain, my strife, my struggle? Who's going to understand culturally how important it is for my black children to be proud to be black? Even when she didn't birth these children, she's still their mother. Nobody's going to do that like a black woman.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to. And that's not putting down other people, but that's say before you criticize me now.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at your life decisions.
Yeah.
And if you know what I'm saying, and if your life decisions didn't bring you to a black woman, then a lot of what you say might not be a credit to me. So I got a critic, I got a critic. Yeah, I know this don't like me.
That's right.
I know this don't like me. I don't act like this like me. You know what I'm saying? This been accused of all kind of.
Okay.
But when I seen that wife,
so his main idea, basically, outside of he believes in black love, is that if you are criticizing him from a standpoint and your significant other is not a reflection of you, he can't take you seriously. So I understand that thinking. I understand why people think that way. And I certainly have respect for it. I'm not going to say that that extends for everybody, but I do think in some form or fashion, we all look at where someone is at to see if their advice matches up with the advice they're imparting on us. And that doesn't necessarily mean that someone has to be thriving in that moment. They could have been through some things where you understand how they've arrived at that point. But I do wonder, because I see a lot of conversation about this as people talk about, oh, well, a lot of the men that stand, for plural blackness, but seem to have an other as their significant other, are they really standing for pro-blackness, or are they standing for pro-blackness for black men? That's the question that comes up for some people, because they seem to be all for those rights, but not as far as extending them to their sisters as well. So that's the question that happens. I don't know how I feel about that. I see how in some cases that seems to play out. I see how it's a source of strength for someone like Killer Mike, but it's a complicated thing. I think especially right now, the reason why people stand on that is because of what we've seen happen over the last 8 years or so, and where we find ourselves at a country, and when so much, whether we like it or not, but so much emulation, let's say, comes from the celebrity world, that in some form or fashion, people are looking at the mate choices, how they dress, how they present themselves, etc., and mirroring them to some degree back. But, I don't know. I think it's love, and you're supposed to love who you want to love. I do think whenever people say, well, you can't who you fall in love with, I don't think that's really true. You absolutely pick who you choose to date and who you choose to get involved with. I'm not saying that you should not choose to, or you can't fall in love with someone of another race and still, want to protect yourself. But I definitely think that, there's something to be said for anyone in wanting that connection that comes with someone that understands deeply, intrinsically, what you've been through. So shout out to Killer Mike for always supporting Black love. It's a love holiday, so, we want to keep that rolling. So recently, rapper G Herbo took a lot of heat for his viral interview with Funny Marco. And if you aren't familiar with who Funny Marco is, he has a popular, I don't know if he started off on TikTok or one of those things, but now he has an interview series. He's very popular. And part of his thing, his shtick, is that he's very dry with his interviews. And he's had some pretty big ones with Nicki Minaj and a couple other people as well. And so recently, G Herbo was on, and he received a lot of heat because he really appeared to go hard on Funny Marco, past the point where some people felt it was no longer funny, but it was mean and almost bullying him on his own show. Well, on a recent interview on Drink Champs, Nor gets a little tipsy. G Herbo addressed that moment, and he said that actually the producers and the production team asked him to troll Funny Marco during the interview, and he was just complying. But he did admit that things might have gone too far. He said, Marco, first and foremost, that's my guy. We already had a relationship prior to doing the interview. So originally, Southside, that is the other guy that is with him, he said, was supposed to just do the interview. And they hit him up, and production told us to troll him. It was supposed to be a surprise to come on and to troll him. We, he said initially they weren't just on and just with the things or whatever. He said that they were a little tipsy, so they went overboard, but there was never an intent to intimidate or embarrass him on his show like that. It was just more supposedly the idea of pulling a him on him, right? And so he said he spoke with Marco before the episode and tried to make sure that things were good and that, they had initially asked the episode to be pulled due to backlash, but that didn't happen. So Herbo said that they've spoken since, they're good. He's not sure if it was confusion between their staff and his production team as far as thinking that they didn't really wanted to come out. And he said that they weren't tripping, but public perception is what it is. So glad that that is out, and I'm glad that if that is the case, that, there wasn't any bullying, because it was uncomfortable to watch. So more love, love, love. Love is in the air. We know that Usher got married over the weekend. So now the details of his wedding have emerged. He got married on Super Bowl Sunday to Jen, whose last name is now Raymond, so I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name. We'll just say they've been together since 2019. So listen, I think their wedding was kind of cute. I mean, they've been together for a long time. They have 2 children, so no need to do the typical type of wedding, right? So they decided to get their wedding going by doing a drive-through Vegas wedding, and it was at a chapel called the Fast Lane. So if you saw some of the pictures, and you can check them out, Usher posted them on his Instagram. They're also all over. She had a veil on that said Mrs. Raymond 21124, and it was written in black across the veil. It was super cute. They had an old school car, and they had the old school touch of, how back in the day they used to put, I don't know why they used to put cans on the back of the cars and put just married, but that's what they used to do back in the day. I don't know what that decoration thing was. Maybe they were cans from the reception. I'm unclear, but they did that. It had an old school feel. Usher had on a 2-tone tuxedo. Their babies were there. His older sons were there as well. So, they went and got married, and it was sweet, and congratulations to them. And I mean, it's a big week for Usher. In addition to the Super Bowl performance, the new album dropping, the tour dropping, past, present, future. There's tons of sold out dates that have happened with the tour. More dates were added. There's also now the announcement that there is going to be a series made based off of Usher's music, right? So the 8-time Grammy winner is partnering up with Universal Studio Group to develop a drama series, and it is going to be based off of basically a drama I'm not sure if it is going to be like an anthology series where they're individual stories or if it's one long series, but it's based on Black love in Atlanta and individuals looking to find a place to call home. The series is going to explore music, style, sex, romance, and secrets that threaten to tear a relationship apart. And Usher's commentary on it is, my 30-year catalog has resonated with so many people, no matter where they were in their lives. I'm happy to be working with UCP to bring the music to life. I hope the series resonates with you in the way my music continues to. So I'm curious to see what they'll bring, you know. I have all types of ideas of things that I could see with it. I kind of would like it to be an anthology series where we see like week to week or episode to episode different love stories, and his, you know, one of the songs is the setup of it and we follow through, and maybe it's a rotating one. We'll have to see though. It's still being developed, so not sure when we can expect to check it out, but shout out to Usher for, you know, having an incredible week. Listen, when we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is on the other side.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. At least one person is dead and several people are injured after a shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves said 10 to 15 more people were hurt in the incident. Graves added 2 people have been arrested. The mayor of Kansas City said the White House called to offer any help. It's not yet known what led to the shooting. No team personnel were injured. Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott is using federal COVID relief money to purchase a pair of hotels to house the homeless. Mayor Scott, who is black, announced the city will pay $15.2 million to buy the Sleep Inn and Suites in Holiday Inn Express along North Front and Gay Streets near the south end of the Jones Falls Expressway. The Baltimore Board of Estimates will consider the deal next week, which includes paying more than $3 million to the seller to manage the hotels. The money comes from the American Rescue Plan Act. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte with the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial. In a public opinion survey commissioned by KBLA Talk 1580 and conducted by Viteris, the black voters surveyed were highly enthusiastic about the March 2024 primary. The race for Los Angeles District Attorney is being hotly contested. Incumbent DA George Gascon's efforts to implement progressive criminal justice reforms have generated pushback from within his own office, the broader law enforcement community, and some in the general public. He was the subject of at least 2 failed attempts to qualify recalls. The concerns about crime are reflected in the polling results of black voters. Nearly 1 in 4 have been victims of violent crime or have someone close to them who has been a victim. 1 in 5 black voters have personally been victims of property crime in the last 2 years. A majority of respondents feel less safe than they did a year or 2 ago, but they reject the notion that criminal justice reform has gone too far. This year, black voters will be looking for candidates who speak to the complexity of the issues as opposed to a one-size-fits-all approach. Nearly half of black voters have an unfavorable view of DA Gascon, but his challengers are largely unknown. Nearly half of the black voters are also undecided, which means there's a clear opportunity for candidates to connect with black voters. Our poll makes 3 things abundantly clear. Black voters matter. Black voters are closely following this race, and the candidates for DA have a lot of work to do. KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to the mobilization and use of the franchise to empower our audience to identify and pursue their interests in advancing equity, inclusive representation, and multiracial solidarity. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte. We welcome your feedback.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. By any other name, we demand environmental justice in 2024 and beyond. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
See the lust in your eye, I know you can't hide it. In your walk, in your vibe, make me wanna try it. Like a lax spinning rims, I love it when you ride it. You a stallion, baby, you know you got body. You working that thing, you twerking that thing. I love them G-strings, it's just a G thing. I'm working that thing, I'm twerking that thing, still stroking that thing. It's just a G thing. Can you make it juicy for me, or I can make it juicy for you? You get sweaty for me, and I can get sweaty for you. Can you make it juicy for me, or I can make it juicy for you?
Welcome back in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I hope that's another song for you to add to your Valentine's Day playlist. There's still time. It's still the evening, you know. Get it up, get it crunk, get it going. I hope that it is an amazing night. So listen, thank you for tapping back in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Andy, we have a request. They want to know the name and artist of that song. I don't know. I know it was kind of popping. It sounds familiar, but I was unclear. Make that thing juicy for you. Sounds like some 2000-ish stuff. 2005.
Released in 2005. That was Pretty Ricky featuring Static Major. The
Shout
name
out
of the
to
song is Juicy off the Blue Stars album.
Shout out. See, that Blue Stars album, quietly, that Blue Stars album had some heat. Do you know what I'm saying? Quiet. You know, don't really want to admit that, but Pretty Ricky, that Blue Stars album. Listen, and Static Major is such a loss. I think that, didn't he pass in February, I believe? No, I know in February, I'm saying the month when he passed, not the year. I know the year, it's been quite some time. I can't remember exactly when, but we miss him. So shout out to Shannon Johnson. That's Juicy from Pretty Ricky on their first album. So, yeah, more to add to the playlist. Forensic Accountant says you can have the Stallion and I'll take a mare. Okay. Shout out to that. Listen. Adam Milan said he already had the volume up. He knows that it's going to open with a smooth hitter. You know, Andy's always on point. Always. We appreciate that around here. Listen, since we're adding songs to our playlist and what have you, this might not be a Valentine's Day banger, but something you might want to consider. Kevin Durant is picking up the mic again. He has a song dropping. It's Staley's song. It's just featuring KD on it. And it's called Scared Money. Excuse me. The visuals for it drop on midnight. And listen, Scared Money, KD on the mic. I haven't heard KD rapping since he was in that Nike commercial and he was Velvet Hoop, which I like that Nike commercial. It's one of my favorites. But, I mean, if Dame Lillard can go platinum and handle his career, we know KD has always been a secret rapper. Why not? I'm curious to see. Put it out there. Uh-oh, Andy. Andy's about to get in this. I want to hear.
KD is cool, but Dame is the best. Ain't no other basketball player. Well,
not Lou Will, not anybody, not any.
I've heard Lou Will spit, but like he ain't pushing the way Dame is. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta look for Lou.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So KD, I heard him spit. I know he had that little record with LeBron James, but I think KD, he just having fun. I don't take him serious as if like he's about to drop an album or anything like that. But he's cool. He's all right.
I mean, I feel like why not? If you feel like you want to throw a signal out there, do it. You know? He's out there living the life. Phoenix is doing okay. So life is good. Let's get it cracking. Forensic Accountant also says no one does. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. He's talking about the song. We're going to move around from that. And listen, you know, it is once again a year of live performances as we get ready for festival season and summer tours. We just mentioned Usher, who we know is kicking off his tour in the fall. Right now, Drake and J. Cole are on tour. We know that is it called Why Do Fools Fall in Love? That festival is coming in, August to Inglewood with all the old school acts. Well, one of our classic old school acts is calling it a career and hitting the road for one final tour. Frankie Beverly and Maze are doing their final tour this year. It starts on March 22nd in Atlanta, and it's called I Want to Thank You, the Farewell Tour. And, you know, Frankie and Maze have been doing it for over 50 years now. And it's about that time. Touring every summer, you know, he's leaving us with Before I Let You Go and all of the other favorites, right? They've toured successfully with acts like Maxwell and Mary J. Blige and others. So they will be winding down. He was recently honored, Frankie Beverly was, at the Urban One Living Legend Honor Dinner with also Dionne Warwick, Mary J. Blige, and Donald Lawrence were also honored there. So if you are trying to catch Frankie Beverly and Maze one last time, be sure to get your tickets. It's going to hit the LA area at the Forum May 12th. So there you go. Saying goodbye to a classic one. Shout out to Frankie Beverly and Maze, man. Can get your 1-2 on. So San Francisco has why can't I talk? Let me slow down. San Francisco has an interesting initiative that they are launching by their mayor, London Breed. She is a black woman. So they are working on something called Black to San Francisco, and it is an initiative to bring HBCUs to San Francisco's downtown, right? Which if you think about it, there are no HBCUs on the West Coast. I think maybe, in the Texas area, maybe is the furthest that they go west. Maybe a little more than that, but really not a West Coast thing. Mostly a down south, East Coast sort of thing. Not even East Coast, really down south. Yeah, down south, Eastern Seaboard type of situation. Well, London Breed has joined city and business leaders to announce that the San Francisco Human Rights Commission has started this initiative. And basically, it is to highlight the benefits of HBCUs as well as the overall impact on San Francisco and their residents. So the city and business leaders want to include contributions from the University of San Francisco, San Francisco State University, and the University of California at San Francisco, and bring HBCU culture, so to speak, to the city of San Francisco. And so a quote from London was, "In San Francisco, we are working to build partnerships that strengthen our leadership as a center of education, innovation, and opportunity. By bringing HBCUs to our city, we can not only create a connection to empower our next generation of leaders, but we can also contribute to the revitalization of our city." And Lyndon also said that she wanted to thank all the private sector supporters as well as the colleges mentioned for their partnership and commitment to this project and initiative. So the plans are, it's going to start with a dinner. But I think that that's an encouraging thing in a way. So I guess maybe it's an abridged program where they're bringing some of them together in some sort of form or fashion. We know that Silicon Valley is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the city. And I think that anything that we can do to bring more of our best and brightest from those institutions into that ecosystem of tech and finance in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley, is important. It's also an important hub for international business. And I think that that is yet another way that we can expand our footprint in business and, gather things in. Charles R. Drew is an HBCU. Where is that? Are you talking about the high school? No, that's King Drew. Where's Charles R. Drew University, forensic accountant? Shout out to you because you always keep us on point. So listen, I think that that is a great thing. I think any way that we can do more to bridge those worlds in an organic way, so to speak, is healthy, because we know that the future involves all of those things. We know the power of attending HBCUs, but we also know the power of being able to tap in to these places and businesses and resources on the ground. So kudos to that. Want to see more of that. And, fight on. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to have more Valentine's Day news. We're going to discuss if Tyrese is yet again pulling stunts and shows for our attention, or if he is really as lovelorn and going through it, the back and forth, as he posts to be. And by post to be, I mean posting on social media, of course. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit savebythescan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Some people just know the best places to eat around town. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're wanting. They know where to find the spiciest hot pot, the gooeyest brownies, and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Thea Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Thea Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Thea Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, listen. Of course, it's Valentine's Day. And it's a day of love. But there's some, like your guy Tyrese, who is constantly, seemingly going through love, heartache, pain, struggle, divorce, very publicly. On Super Bowl Sunday, he put out that his girlfriend that he has been with, I think they've been together for couple, maybe a year, maybe longer, hard to remember, but this is a new girlfriend, not his ex-wife Samantha Lee, and he said that she left him because she felt he was putting too much energy into his old relationship because Tyrese is dropping a new project and it's called Beautiful Pain, and he released a trailer for it, and in it is, expressing all the heartache and pain that he's going through as far as his situation with Samantha Lee. There are some moments when he was, online having his emotional breaks, the commentary from the fans, and he is reacting to it. It's all very, very dramatic, right? You can see more of it at Tyrese.tv. And so his girlfriend, they've actually been together for 2 years. Her name is Zelly Timothy, and she broke up with him over it. But, of course, today, being Valentine's Day, he announced that he's been calling her and begging her, and she's finally, giving him an opportunity to listen to him. But in the meantime, he has this album that is dropping. So he said that there are pre-orders for the album. It would only be available for 10 hours, right, to get into it. So we know that Tyrese has always been very expressive online, very open in his interviews as well. Some people feel like as a black man that is opening up and showing his emotions like women always say that they want, now they are chastising him for being vulnerable and expressing that
Because it's
online.
too much.
I would agree with that. Andy, you look like you were going to say something else.
Because it's too much.
I mean,
like, fall
yeah.
back, bro. We don't need to see everything. Fall back, go to therapy, heal, but we don't need you to broadcast every emotional moment. Like, it's dope, your vulnerability and all that, but it's too much. Just fall back and just, take a break.
Do you think that he is really, and I'm not quite, so let me frame this correctly. I am not questioning his emotions or his state, but do you think that he is milking it to a degree or putting it more out there than maybe he really feels in his heart in moments to promote the projects and to kind of cut through the conversation and clutter to make himself stand out?
I don't think he's milking it.
You think this is just him?
I think this is just him. I think he needs to take a break from relationships, and I think he just needs to heal all the way. Because it just every relationship you're in,
it's very dramatic.
Yeah,
it's very drawn out.
Like, bro, just chill.
It's very much in the public, tears and wanting people to. And again, we do want vulnerability, but we do not want.
He looks pathetic, man. Let's just be honest with you. And I hate to even go that far, go that extreme.
You said it. No, I'm
just look pathetic, bro. Just like I said, just chill.
For me, it just feels like at some point you gotta know, and I say this about a lot of people and a lot of things, at some point you gotta know when to pull back and when the depth of these conversations should be had behind closed doors, or perhaps talk about it once you have worked through it so you can share the process and maybe not the throes of it, because there's being open and being vulnerable, and then there's being overexposed. And I mean, honestly, I don't know, how serious this young lady is taking Tyrese or whatever, but either way, it's got to be difficult to be in a public relationship where your significant other is always angry at or crying over his ex-wife, but we're supposed to be moving forward. It sets up a little bit of an imbalance. I'm sure she's a very secure woman, but even the most secure woman would get a little tired of the constant, however you want to call it, expressing of these emotions,
He should have never got into a new relationship if he was still, harboring on his past.
And I feel like this is his second new relationship since he's been divorced. Like, there was one, and then that one wasn't that long, and then he got with this young lady.
And I'm curious to know what was the purpose of him even being in a relationship if, he's gonna, still think about his past and whatnot. It just got me thinking, like, was it physical? Like, there's something that he's missing for him to confide, or at least wanting to constantly be in a relationship, knowing that you're still hurting.
I mean, I really agree with that. Is it a serial monogamy type thing? Is it, the best way to get over somebody is to get under or on top of someone else in this type of situation? I'm not sure. But I do think that, considering he's an independent artist as well, he knows or is savvy enough to a degree to know what also gets him particular attention and cuts through. If Tyrese just released a project, right, even if it was good, are people going to be talking about it as much? Are people waiting like, I'm waiting for that new Tyrese album?
No.
And so that's why I think that some of this is exaggerate. Like, I'm not doubting that he has shown himself to be a very vulnerable and openly emotional guy, right? No shade, no tea. So I believe that there are these things there, and some of them are definitely spontaneous moments. But I also believe that he knows what gets the people going for him, and that is the way that he can get some anticipation or some eyes on his project.
It ain't working. Now, if he has a movie coming out, we can, have another discussion. if anything, he probably needs to take some tips from Drake about being vulnerable and capitalizing. Maybe he needs to collaborate with Drake on a song or something like that. But the way he's doing it, it's not a good look.
Okay, well, we'll have to see if anyone gets into Tyrese's new music. Forensic Account says when Marvin Gaye released his divorce album, Here My Dear, in 78, it was almost universally panned. Today, it's considered a classic. I mean, I think, but then we look at Confessions, and Confessions was thought to be a real-life confession album of what Usher and Chili were going through. We later found out it wasn't, and that was celebrated. I think it's a matter of timing. I think Tyrese and the relationship angle is something right now that's a bit overexposed. Listen, when we come forward, we're not going to stop with the overexposed. We're going to get into Kanye and his response to Shaq and others, plus more trending topics and headlines. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Like a Ray talk about slick 'em way. Now all them haters gon' hate, but girl, let them hate.
I'll be your lover, man. Your special lover, man. And I do anything that you want me to do, plus more and more. Now if you want me to rub you down, massage your body, cause it's feeling sore, then baby, just close the door and let me take control. I'll be the man he dreams, better yet, your Superman. Take you places you never been, so close you could call us kin. Cause you got that juicy, and I love your body next to me. I sweat for you, so sweat for me.
Can you make it juicy for me? Or I can make it juicy for I can you. Make it juicy. Sweaty for me. And I can get sweaty for you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest